straight on to the business news now in the programme. We're going to start with a verdict in the years-long battle between Epic Games and Google. Cami Knight is joining us here on set to tell us more about it. Cami.
Hi, Stuart. It marks a pretty significant victory for critics of Google's App Store terms and practices. A federal jury in the US has found Google's App Store violates antitrust law. Epic Games, which owns video games Fortnite, had sued Google back in 2020, accusing it of a monopoly over the distribution of apps and in-app billing. The landmark verdict came after just 3 hours of deliberation, and the jury unanimously answered yes to every question put before them. So simply put, that Google has monopoly power in the Android app distribution markets and in-app billing services markets, that Google acted anti-competitively in those markets, and that Epic suffered from that behaviour. One thing that stood out from the trial was what critics have been referring to as the Google tax, so commissions that can be up to 30% and that Google collects on transactions completed within its apps. It's a historic victory because Epic lost a similar fight against Apple 2 years ago, though that ruling is now under appeal at the US Supreme Court. Google has said in a statement that it planned to challenge the verdict. Over to Bethlehem now, where tourism has plummeted this Christmas season, leaving businesses struggling to keep their doors open as the Israel-Hamas war enters a third month. The town heavily relies on visitors from all around the world who come to see the Church of Nativity. Leo McGuinn has the story.
Just weeks before Christmas, Manger Square in Bethlehem would normally be heaving with tourists and pilgrims. Instead, it is virtually empty. Located just south of Jerusalem, the city is heavily reliant on visitors from all over the world who come to see the Church of the Nativity. But as the Israel-Hamas war enters a third month, many businesses are struggling to keep their doors open.
Our business, it depends on pilgrims and tourists. Bethlehem generally depends on pilgrims and tourists. This time of year, usually we have full of people, full of pilgrims. This time of year, usually we have full of festivals. Bethlehem, it's the best place in the world in this time. This is Christmas time, where Jesus was born.
Bethlehem can usually expect as many as 150,000 tourists over the Yuletide period, and relies on tourism for 90% of its economic income. Hotels are normally booked out for months in advance. Now, they're empty.
We were fully booked October, November, December. We were 120% capacity. We were looking different hotels to send the people because there's no room. Even for Christmas, I had many people that I don't have room for them. I had to look for other hotels and everybody's completely booked. There was no room in the inn in Bethlehem.
The Palestinian-run Bethlehem municipality announced last month that all festive decorations would be dismantled in solidarity with the people of Gaza.
And now for a quick look at the markets. A higher open for European markets on Tuesday, with FTSE leading gains, trading up about 0.3%. Investors are looking ahead to this week's Federal Reserve policy meeting, which begins this Tuesday. The US central bank expected to maintain interest rates steady. And over in Asia, Hong Kong stocks are leading gains in Asia-Pacific markets, with all three major indexes trading up on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the value of India's stock market has overtaken that of Hong Kong's to become the seventh largest in the world, as optimism about the country's economic prospects grow. And as we head towards the end of the year, Google has released its top search trends for 2023, and it gives us a kind of snapshot of what has captivated people's attention this year. And perhaps unsurprisingly, people around the world overwhelmingly Googled questions surrounding Hamas's attack on Israel and Israel's war in Gaza. Now, looking at France specifically, though, funnily enough, Israel-Hamas war did not top the list. It was ChatGPT that came in first place. And in second place, going back to the worldwide ranking, was the Titan submersible that imploded on its voyage to see the Titanic. Now, Google also sorted the searches into categories. So the top researched people were three men: Damar Hamlin, Jeremy Renner and Andrew Tate. And the recipe that came out on top, Stuart, was the delicious Korean rice bowl bibimbap.
It's very nice. I have a bibimbap restaurant just around the corner from me, and it's very good. If you knew where I lived, I'd recommend it, but I probably ought not to. Gary Knight with the business for you here on France at 24.